Good evening, and welcome to the Baseball and Beer Podcast. I'm your host, John May. Tonight, we're going to discuss the Phillies and Mets' upcoming series in the NLDS. I believe we have two evenly matched teams here, as the Phillies took the season series this year 7 games to 6. They split the series in London, 1 game each. The Phillies were 3-2 at Citizens Bank Park, and they were 3-3 at Citi Field in New York. 3 of the Phillies' losses this year to the Mets, Taijuan Walker was the starting pitcher, so we won't have to worry about seeing him in this series, I don't believe, unless he is the 8th man and the mop-up guy out of the bullpen, and Thompson feels he needs to use him in a game. Hopefully the Phillies have very well in control. So we have Zach Wheeler starting game 1, going against a very interesting pitcher here for the Mets, who today announced that Kodai Senga is going to start for them. He's been injured all year. I believe he's 1-0 this year. He started back maybe a game back in July. I see this as nothing more than maybe an opener type situation. Then they'll go to their bullpen as maybe he gives them 2 innings. Puts a little fire in the belly of their team, psychs them up a little bit. They're coming off. The Mets have played 5 games in the last 4 days. Basically they were in a playoff series, the last 2 regular season games of the year, a doubleheader on Monday with the Braves for the wild card spots. Each team, as we know, needed to win a game. They each did, and then the Mets took care of Milwaukee 2-1 with a dramatic ending last night with Pete Alonso hitting a 3-run homer in the 9th inning with the Mets down 2-0. So they're going to be stoked for this series, and they're coming in hot. They've been hot for a while now, pretty much since that London series. They've been a pretty hot team, and quite frankly, the Phillies have not. The Phillies have been pretty much a 500 team since the All-Star break, a few games over, and that was good enough still with their hot start in April and May to win a division, finish in second place behind the Dodgers, and secure a bye in the first round. So the Mets come in, pretty hot right now, and the Phillies should be well rested. So hopefully, they did play an inter-squad game this week. Thompson said there was a lot of intensity in it. I mean, come on, no fans there. You're playing against your teammates. I don't know how intense that can be, but whatever. They practiced, they played a game, and hopefully they can come out and they can jump on Kodai Senga. The Braves tried this a couple years ago with Strider was injured. They put him in. The Phillies jumped all over him. So hopefully we have the same success. Let me look at some of my notes here. Some stuff I really want to get out here. A couple keys, I think, to this series. Home field advantage is going to be big, I believe, even though there will be some Mets fans here this weekend. We know that. They come down, they travel well, just as well as Phillies fans do, and I expect Phillies fans to be up in New York for Tuesday night's game, hopefully to close this thing out, 3-0. Do I believe that's going to happen? Probably not. 3-1 Phillies, maybe even 3-2. I think that's one of the keys, though. The home field advantage will really help them, and the main thing the Phillies are really going to need in this series is plate discipline. They are going to get a heavy dose of breaking balls, off-speed pitches. They're not going to see too many fastballs, quite frankly, and why should they? They hit fastballs. We know they can hit fastballs. They don't hit the breaking stuff, and they're going to need to be disciplined. They're going to play. It's going to be small ball. They're going to have to be disciplined to plate, draw some walks. They're going to have to get the bunts down when they need it. They're going to have to run. They're going to have to steal some bases. They're going to have to play good defense, too. I believe their pitching will be there. Wheeler has got a little revenge factor added in here against the Mets, who let him go a few years ago. Basically didn't re-sign him. And, boy, I bet they wish they had him now, don't they? But, I'm not really worried about Wheeler in Game 1. Sanchez is going to go in Game 2 as he's he has much better splits. His splits are much better at home. He pitches much better at home than he does on the road. So Thompson made a decision to bump Nola back to Game 3 in New York. Maybe with a hostile environment in New York, maybe a little better to have a guy like Nola who's been through it than, say, Sanchez, who only got a little whiff last year. I believe the 3 innings he pitched last year before Topper pulled him out in the playoff game against Arizona. So probably a good move there, Wheeler and Sanchez. So we need the offense to come out, be a little disciplined. Lay off the pitches that are out of the strike zone. Quite frankly, hit their pitches, and they should be all right. I'm not sure what Topper's going to do with his lineup. I would imagine it'll be much the same as it was all season, where he'll go with the matchups. It looks like the outfield. We haven't seen a roster released yet, so we know the 3 outfielders of now are Marsh, Hayes, and Rojas. So we know there'll be some form of a platoon there between those players, possibly a Cal Stevenson if he makes the team, if he's on the roster, I should say. Second base, I would imagine we're going to see the platoon of Sosa and Stott. That's just the way Thompson's been all year. I don't see him changing with that right now. Like I said, the roster has not been set yet. We pretty much know Stubbs will be the backup catcher. Sosa will be a utility infielder. I mentioned the combination of Hayes, Rojas, and Marsh. So one of them will be on the bench as a third player. Castellanos obviously in right. So there's a couple spots. I think they're going to go with a 14 position players and 12 pitchers. So I believe you'll see Cody Clemens should be on this team. Weston Wilson will probably make it, or Stevenson. I'm not sure which way they would want to go there. Stevenson would be better defensively than Wilson. Obviously, Wilson's more of a bat. So I think they'd probably be better off going with Stevenson and Clemens. Both left-handed though, so that kind of takes that right-handed bat of Wilson out of the mix. We'll see. We'll see what they decide. It's going to come down to pitcher matchups there. Thompson's going to have, like we said, it's going to be Wheeler, Sanchez, Nola, and Suarez in Game 4. Suarez has not been real good lately. We know that, working his way back from an injury. He had a sore back, some hamstring troubles, and he hasn't been able to go more than 5 innings since he's been back from the IL. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I can see a situation where maybe, Suarez can only give him 3 or 4 innings, and they're going to have to go to the bullpen. So we're going to need some innings out of, Wheeler, Sanchez. They'll have the day off Monday, and then Nola comes back, and hopefully Nola can give them the 6 or 7 innings that they're going to need out of him in case they need that bullpen to go with. If Suarez can't go more than 4 or 5 innings. Wheeler would obviously be back for Game 5 Friday night if that's needed. I don't believe it will. I know there's a lot of talk on the radio. A few of my buddies have texted me. A lot of people are nervous. I guess rightfully so. Look, this Mets team reminds a lot of people of the Phillies. I keep hearing that of 2022. Phillies went right down to the final weekend, the final 3 games before they clinched a spot in the wild card. The Mets obviously did that, and they clinched in Game 161. Won their first round in the playoff series as the Phillies did, and then coming to the NLDS against a bye team. The Phillies obviously against the Braves where they knocked them out, and I think people are kind of have that in their back of their minds that possibly the Mets could come in here hot and the Phillies will not be hot with the bye, and that's a reasonable, I guess, worry. That could be. You play baseball 6 days a week for 6 months, and then to just suddenly shut it down for 5 days and think you could start right back up. Maybe not. The Houston Astros have been able to do it. It never bothered them. Teams like the Dodgers, the Padres, it bothered. So we'll see. The Braves, obviously. So we'll see. Hopefully the Phillies don't fall into that realm. So the bullpen. We know we have 7 reliable relievers down there, which is fantastic. The 8th spot, that could come from anyone, from Walker being the mop-up guy. He is paid a lot of money. He's a respected teammate of this team. He's a good teammate. He's on the top step of that dugout every game, cheering on his players and his teammates and all. And maybe Thompson puts him in that 8th spot, and you know, he would get an appearance in a mop-up situation if the game's out of hand, obviously. But or to go a different route. Spencer Turnbull could be a guy they're looking. He made a rehab start. He pitched in that inter-squad game. You know, he's probably thrown a couple bullpens this week as well. He could be a guy they're looking to maybe get a couple innings, piggyback with, say, Suarez in Game 4. If, you know, Suarez can only go 4 innings, maybe he can get two out of Turnbull, maybe two and a third, and that saves the bullpen a little bit. Other names, you know, Allard, Laser, they're names that could also fill in that 8th spot. So, you know, the roster's not announced, like I said a few times already. So, you know, we'll see where they choose to go with that. Ah, that's good. What a beautiful night. And how about the weather we're going to have for these 2 games, Saturday and Sunday? And the high 70s in October. You know, usually this is, you know, sweat jacket or sweatshirt weather. It's been rainy in Philadelphia in the past, but we're going to have sunny skies Saturday and Sunday, 4:08 start, both days. Fantastic. Whoa, almost lost my beer there. I got started a little early tonight, folks, so give me the benefit of the doubt. I may be a little off here on my podcast tonight. Get another sip in here. That's good. Really good out of the Phillies mug. Nice new mug my wife purchased for me, by the way. A Phillies symbol on there. Getting ready to use this all of October, hopefully. Right into November for the World Series win for the Phillies. So, anyway, Red October is here, folks. It's time for the offense to show up, the pitching to do what they do, Thompson to make all the right moves, and you know, we were close in 22. Was disappointed in the NLCS last year, 2023, losing to Arizona. I think it's time to get over the hump this year, folks. 2024, it's time to put it all together: the offense, the defense, the pitching, Topper with the right decisions, and go out there and get this thing done. Get over the hump this year, and let's get that trophy back to Middleton, who wants his fucking trophy back, as he said. And there's no better way, folks, to do this than starting off with eliminating the rival Mets. I mean, I could think of nothing better. It was great beating the Braves, but there'll be nothing like eliminating the Mets and then moving on to the next round against San Diego and LA, and then on to the World Series. Maybe you know, maybe we can get a 1980 replay against Kansas City, who looks pretty good right now. Maybe we get the Yankees, get a little revenge against them. We'll see. So, folks, have a great night. Enjoy the weekend. Let's get 2 wins Saturday, Sunday. No Eagles this weekend, so let's concentrate all on the Phillies. Enjoy the weather, and I'll see you guys hopefully after the series ends, getting ready for another round. Have a great night, folks. Cheers. Go Phils.